Not all deductive arguments can be easily stated in categorical form. Many arguments consist of claims that can best be analyzed and assessed through the use of propositional logic. Propositional logic examines the relationships among the claims and conclusions of arguments. The premises of a propositional argument usually include premises composed of two or more claims, connected by the terms if, then, and either, or and if and only if, or modified by the term not. Each of these would be a complex statement. For instance, the statement, "It is raining and the streets are wet," is composed of two claims, "It is raining," and "the streets are wet," connected by the term "and." Similarly, the statement, "If you pass the final exam, then you will pass the course," is composed of two claims, "You pass the final exam," and "You will pass the course," joined by the connected "that then." It is important to learn to symbolize propositional arguments, since it is the argument's symbolic form that will determine whether or not the argument is a valid one. The form of a deductive argument determines that argument's validity. A valid deductive argument is one that is structured in such a way that if and only if all of the premises turn out to be true, necessary the conclusion must be true. In an invalid deductive argument, the conclusion need not be true, even if all of the supporting premises are true. Valid deductive arguments give us a way of extracting information from information we already possess. For instance, if I know that whenever it rains, the streets get wet, and I also know that the streets are not wet, I can validly extract from these two premises the information or conclusion that it is not raining, because validity is determined by the patterns formed by the component statements of the argument. It is easier to represent an argument symbolically by symbolizing the component statements and their connectives. The argument pattern can be more easily recognized. This is referred to as symbolic logic. Differentiating valid from invalid arguments can be of great practical benefit. Many of the decisions we make are the conclusions of arguments we offer ourselves or accept from others. Sound decisions cannot be made on the basis of fallacious reasoning. Symbolization and propositional logic. Simple statements are symbolized with capital letters. Although these letters can be any of the 26, it is usually helpful to pick the first letter of an important word in the statement. So the statement, "The Mississippi River is the longest in the United States," is best symbolized by capital M. Although any other letter will do equally well, but consistency is important. If M means that the Mississippi River is the longest in the United States, we should not assign any other meaning to M, and we should not let any other letter stand for the same statement. In this text, we will underline the word whose first letter to symbolize the statement in which it is included. For instance, if we make the claim just stated, the word Mississippi will be underlined. The Mississippi is the longest river in the United States. This tells us that we should symbolize the statement with the letter M. Another important element of propositional logic is the logical connective. A logical connective is a term that connects statements to one another. The connectives we will study are and, or, if then, not, and if and only if. These connectives determine the logical form of the resulting argument, and will help us to assess the validity or invalidity of the conclusion. The term "and" as well as its synonyms form statements that are known as conjunctions. Disjunctions result from the use of the connective or if-then statements are known as conditionals, while the use of the term "not" turns the statement into a negation. Strictly speaking, negations do not connect statements, they simply deny that the statement is true. Finally, if and only if is a connective that forms a biconditional from the component statements. The truth value of complex statements is determined not only by the truth value of its components, but by the rules applicable to that particular logical connective. The statement, "Albany is the capital of New York and Albany is the capital of Georgia," is a complex statement that turns out to be false. On the other hand, "Albany is the capital of New York" or "Albany is the capital of Georgia" is a complex statement that is true. In the following sections we examine the basic rules for determining the truth value of complex statements.